Most men will never be strong, not because they can't, but because they won't. They'll sit around talking about what they could do, how they have the potential, how, if they really wanted, they could be in shape, could build a business, could change their lives. But they never do. And here's the brutal truth. Potential means nothing. Potential is the soft pillow men rest their heads on while their lives rot away. Because strength isn't about what you could be. It's about what you choose to become. And most men will never choose it. Let me paint you a picture. There's a guy you know. Maybe he's you. He's smart, talented. He talks about all the things he wants to achieve. He's got big plans. Maybe he even believes he's destined for more. But years go by, and nothing changes. He still talks, still dreams, still promises. But he's just as weak as he was before. Why? Because he never chose to pay the price. He never chose the discipline, the grind, the sacrifice. He clings to the fantasy of his potential because it's easier than facing the reality of his weakness. This is the trap. Potential feels good. It gives you the illusion of strength without any of the cost. It lets you believe you're special while excusing you from actually doing the work. But here's the truth. Every man has potential. That's not rare. That's not impressive. What's rare is the man who actually acts on it. What's rare is the man who refuses to waste it. What's rare is the man who takes that potential, grinds it through fire, and forges it into reality. And most men will never do it. Because acting on your potential means suffering. It means saying no to comfort, no to distraction, no to the easy path. It means waking up early, training your body when you don't feel like it, working when you'd rather rest, facing rejection when you'd rather stay hidden. It means bleeding for something that might not pay off for years, and men today aren't built for that. They're built for instant gratification. They're built for comfort. They're built for likes, for distractions, for digital illusions that give them a hit of dopamine without the grind. And in the next section, we'll expose the cage that keeps them trapped, the comfort that feels safe, but is slowly killing them. Comfort feels good, and that's why it's killing you. Because comfort is the cage that keeps men weak. It seduces you with ease, lulls you into safety, and slowly robs you of the fire that makes you strong. Every man says he wants strength, but when it comes time to pay the price, when it comes time to choose pain, to choose discipline, to choose sacrifice, most men fold. They'll take the couch over the grind, the screen over the struggle, the easy path over the hard road, and then they wonder why they're weak. Here's the brutal truth. Strength is born in discomfort. Every rep in the gym, every early morning, every long night of grinding when you'd rather sleep. That's the soil where strength grows. But men today, they run from that soil. They avoid pain. They avoid struggle. They avoid hardship. They think avoiding pain keeps them safe. But it doesn't keep them safe. It keeps them small. Think about your own life. How many times have you chosen the easier option, telling yourself it didn't matter? Skipping the workout because you'll go tomorrow. Staying in bed because you needed rest. Eating junk because it's just one time. Every one of those choices feels harmless in the moment. But add them up over years, and you get the soft, passive, unfocused man staring back at you in the mirror. That's the cost of comfort. It doesn't destroy you all at once. It rots you slowly. The ancients knew this. The Spartans, trained in the freezing cold, marched barefoot, starved themselves, and fought without mercy, because they knew hardship forged strength. The Stoics taught that you must embrace discomfort daily, or else you become soft. Seneca wrote, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it." And what is the greatest waste? Wasting life in comfort. Here's the paradox. The very thing men avoid, hardship, is the only thing that can make them strong. You can't build muscle without resistance. You can't build discipline without denial. You can't build resilience without struggle. Strength doesn't grow in ease. It grows in fire. And if you avoid the fire, you avoid strength. Ask yourself this. When was the last time you truly pushed yourself to the edge? The last time you did something hard, something painful, something that demanded everything you had? If you can't remember, that's the problem. Because every day you avoid hardship, you shrink. Every time you choose comfort, you trade away a piece of your strength. And eventually, you wake up trapped in the cage you built yourself, too soft to break out, too weak to even try. This is why most men will never be strong, because they think strength should come without suffering. They want the reward without the pain, the body without the discipline, the respect without the grind. But that's not how it works. Strength demands a price, and the price is pain. And here's where the trap gets even darker. Because it's not just comfort that's killing men. It's distraction, endless digital sedation designed to numb you, weaken you, and make sure you never even notice the cage you're in. And in the next section, we'll confront the addiction that steals men's drive, drains their energy, and guarantees they'll never rise. Distraction is the new drug, and most men are junkies. They don't drink in bars or shoot up in alleys. They sedate themselves with screens. They scroll, they binge, they click, they tap. Hour after hour, day after day, until their energy is gone, their focus is shattered, and their strength has withered away. They call it relaxing. They call it just unwinding. But the truth is brutal. They're not relaxing. They're running. Running from the silence. Running from the pain. Running from the discipline they know they should have. And distraction is the needle that keeps them numb. Look around at modern men. They spend more time staring at screens than building anything in the real world. Hours vanish into video games, porn, TikTok, endless Netflix episodes. They've got no mission, no focus, no drive, just a steady drip feed of stimulation that keeps them sedated enough not to notice their own collapse. That's not living, that's anesthesia. And here's the most brutal part. Distraction doesn't just waste your time, it kills your ambition. Because the more you feed on easy stimulation, the harder it becomes to focus on the work that actually matters. Your brain adapts. It gets hooked on dopamine spikes from quick hits, likes, videos, pixels, and loses the ability to endure the long grind of real creation. So when it comes time to push through something difficult, your mind rebels. It craves the shortcut, the path of least resistance, and so you go back to the feed. Back to the comfort. Back to the drug. And the cost? Men who should be warriors are becoming watchers. Men who should be building empires are building playlists. Men who should be leading families are leading comment wars online. They are numbed, weakened, passive, and passivity is death for masculinity. Because men are not meant to be passive. Men are meant to act, to create, to fight, to conquer. But distraction steals that fire. It turns hunters into consumers, warriors into spectators, leaders into addicts. Nietzsche warned about this kind of man. He called him the last man, weak, comfort-seeking, endlessly entertained, content with mediocrity. That's exactly what distraction creates. Men who settle for stimulation instead of strength. And the scariest part? Most men are fine with it. They'd rather stay numb than face the pain of discipline. They'd rather be weak than feel the fire of becoming strong. This is why most men will never become strong. Not because they lack potential. Not because they lack opportunity. But because they willingly chain themselves to endless distractions that bleed their focus dry. They've numbed themselves into weakness. They've scrolled themselves into passivity. They've entertained themselves into oblivion. Every man says he wants to be strong, but most men never will. Not because they can't start, but because they can't stay. They sign up for the gym and quit after 3 weeks. They start a side hustle and give up when it doesn't blow up in a month. They swear they'll change their habits, but by the end of the week, they're back to old routines. It's not a lack of ambition that keeps men weak. It's a lack of discipline. And discipline is the one thing most men today don't have. Here's the ugly truth. Starting is easy. Anyone can feel a burst of motivation after watching an inspiring video, hearing a story, or getting angry at themselves for being weak. Motivation gets you to the starting line, but only discipline gets you to the finish, and most men never cross the finish because they don't have the discipline to keep going when it stops being fun, when the results don't come fast enough, when the grind feels endless. So they quit. And every time they quit, they kill their own strength. This isn't just laziness, it's conditioning. We live in a dopamine culture that rewards instant gratification. Fast food, fast entertainment, fast results. You're trained to crave the immediate hit. And so when you face something that requires months, years of consistent effort, your brain revolts. It screams, too slow, too hard, too boring, and you give up. But strength doesn't care about speed. Strength is built brick by brick, day after day, with discipline that doesn't stop. No shortcuts, no hacks, no easy wins. And that's why most men fail. Because they can't endure the long road. Every man wants strength, but almost no man wants the price. Because real strength isn't free. It isn't handed out. It isn't downloaded like an app. Strength demands sacrifice. Sacrifice of comfort. Sacrifice of ease. Sacrifice of the life you wish you could have for the life that must be earned through pain. That's why most men will never be strong, not because they lack the ability, but because they refuse the sacrifice. Think about what it takes to build real strength. To build your body, you must suffer in the gym, day after day, pushing weight until your muscles burn, until your lungs scream, until you collapse in sweat. To build discipline, you must say no to comfort 1,000 times, deny yourself pleasures others indulge in, cut out distractions that everyone else runs to. To build focus, you must endure boredom, long stretches of silence, nights of grinding when nobody is watching, when no reward seems near. To build resilience, You must face rejection, ridicule, failure, again and again, and rise back up every time. That's the path, and it is brutal. Most men avoid it. They'll train for a week, then quit. They'll commit until it hurts, then retreat. They'll sacrifice only until the cost gets too high. But real strength doesn't come from dabbling. It comes from blood, from sweat, from scars. It comes from walking the road most men are too soft to even step on. Look at history. Every man who became strong paid the price. The warrior trained in hunger and cold. The leader endured exile and hatred. The builder sacrificed years of comfort for a vision nobody else believed in. Strength has always demanded loss before gain, and most men, when faced with that truth, turn away. Because the herd will never accept suffering. The herd will never embrace sacrifice. The herd chooses safety. And so the herd stays weak. Here's the paradox. The very things men run from, pain, rejection, loneliness, failure, are the very things that forge strength. Without pain, there's no growth. Without rejection, there's no resilience. Without loneliness, there's no independence. Without failure, there's no mastery. The path is brutal, but it is the only path. And this is why most men stay trapped. They want shortcuts. They want hacks. They want to avoid the suffering. So they settle for illusions, fake strength online, fake confidence in comments, fake validation through likes. But fake never lasts. And when life tests them, when hardship comes, when struggle arrives, they collapse. Because they never built the strength that only sacrifice can forge. That's why the path is brutal. Because it strips you. It tears away your illusions. It kills your excuses. It leaves you alone with nothing but your willpower and your pain. But in that fire, something happens. The weak man dies, and the strong man is born. Most men think strength is about big moments, heroic acts, massive achievements, battles won. But strength is built in the small, daily choices nobody sees. The decision to get up when you want to stay in bed. The decision to push harder when your body screams to stop. The decision to say no when everyone else says yes. The man who rises isn't the man who waits for motivation. He's the man who builds himself through choice. And those choices, stacked day after day, year after year, turn him into someone the weak can't even recognize. Look at history. Every strong man was once ordinary. Marcus Aurelius wasn't born an emperor. He became one through daily discipline. Miyamoto Musashi wasn't born a legendary swordsman. He forged himself through endless practice, through real duels where his life was at stake. Nietzsche wasn't born the prophet of strength. He clawed his way through sickness, isolation, and ridicule to write words that still shake men today. What made them different wasn't privilege. It was the choice to endure what others avoided. They chose hardship, and in that choice, they rose. But if you don't want to fail, if you don't want to live and die as one of the herd, you have only one path: to choose hardship. Not once, not sometimes, but every single day. Choose the harder workout. Choose the harder road. Choose the harder truth, because the harder choice is the one that forges strength. And in the end, strength isn't about who you were born as. It's about who you chose to become. Like, share, subscribe.